on the blue side yet again, and they're going to ban the Ezreal first.
So are we going to see the same Ryze, Azir, and Braum bans that we saw in the first game that Jin Air has? Ezreal, Rek'Sai, and Gnar were the blue side bans for Samsung in Game 1. I don't know if you think that Braum is that scary. After watching Luna play it that last game, they did well in terms of dealing with it. They're going to ban the Kalista instead. Probably a wise plan.
The Nidalee still open, but is it first pick worthy?
All right, Alistair take it away from Sweet. So do you go for the victor here? Samsung first pick Kalista in the last game. Maybe they want to deny that from GBM, and they will. So first pick Victor, another GBM denial, but I mean, they've had Victor all 3 games now. GBM played TF and Orianna into it. And they have that chance to just last pick the TF again if they want to. Now, GBM did lose his mid lane turret and struggle making plays on the side lane as a result in Game 1. So maybe you don't go into that Victor with the TF.
Now, no Alistar for Sweet this time around.
You could just go Maokai Braum. I mean, you still have the strong engage. Jin Air has been putting an emphasis on that champion. They picked it in the first round of the draft on both red and blue sides so far tonight.
Thinking about it. And they're going to grab the Nidalee. Okay. Not bad. I mean, obviously, Nidalee was a pretty big help last game.
It's interesting. Of course, Nidalee is a contested pick in this matchup. It's one of the very few games in Korean League of Legends where we can say that Nidalee is definitely a hot champion.
Yeah.
And now that could give the Braum over, which does lead to the question of what exactly Sweet will be playing.
Well, I think you're right, though, where the Braum from Luna just really isn't a big threat, so Jin Air doesn't really care about giving that to him. They're going to take the Gragas and possibly this Maokai. Yep, they will take that.
Okay, so the Kog'Maw comes through for Samsung. Remember that Samsung has yet to lose a game on Kog'Maw this season. So they've been having a lot of success in playing Protect the Cog comps. They don't have the Azir to sort of help out with this time. Still some nice zoning potential from Victor with the Gravity Field. And now Jin Air maybe going a bit all in here. They can take Annie, remember, that is still up for grabs. And with Sivir, Maokai, and Annie, they are going to have a lot of answers to the less than mobile backline that Samsung has assembled so far. They may just take the Ori again. Very reliable champion for GBM, and he did have a very solid game on it last time.
I think Orianna would definitely wreck this Kog'Maw as well. I mean, TF can get into the back line, so...
Yeah, TF is also good against Kog'Maw, so they may just double down on that engage. They've got every champion right now can get into the back line in some form or another.
Well, they do go ahead and lock in the Twisted Fate. GBM switching over to that teleport. On the mid lane, going for the double globals yet again. And so the final 2 picks for Samsung here, what is it going to be? You know, I feel like Luna certainly looked stronger on that Janna in game number 1 than he did on Braum in game number 2.
Man, that Hecarim again. Kube got MVP, but he was punished so hard early. Maybe that Samsung's like, well, you took the Hecarim bait in the last game, and we managed to get a bunch of dragons off of it. You have that same topside combination of Maokai, Nidalee, and TF. We know you're going to be going hard on our top laner. Let's just make it as juicy as possible, and we'll win the same way. Let's just stack those dragons, get number 5, and beat you in a 5v5. Risky.
It is. Just because it worked once doesn't mean it'll work again. I mean, really, it shouldn't work again, right?
Well, if the execution is just a little bit better, and they don't tunnel so hard on that Hecarim pick, but, you know, Kube did a good job of staying even in farm, even though he did have all that pressure in game number 1, and that's going to be the pick. Janna, no surprise, they do need additional peel, so is it going to be Annie, is the question. From
Annie,
Jin Air.
what about a Thresh? I mean, not as much big team fighting AoE potential, but you do have that pick potential.
I think Annie's just better these days, especially because if you had an AD carry that needed peel, it would be better here, but Sivir's going to be right in the front line, so you're not really so concerned about that.
Right. Well, I'm always happy to see Annie get picked up.
Yeah, Thresh is of course that kind of pick-peel hybrid. He's a master of many different things, but with his composition, everybody on Jin Air goes in. So there's nobody really to peel for with the box. So it's kind of pointless to have Thresh in this composition when you can have Annie instead. Annie wasn't available, maybe then you start thinking about Thresh, but Annie definitely makes a lot more sense here.
True enough, and so there's our lineup for the last game in our first best of 3. Jin Air has a million ways to kill you.
But they do, and
welcome again to Summoner's Rift. Samsung Galaxy taking on the Jin Air Green Wings, and this is actually Sweet's first game on Annie.
Oh, Very interesting.
We have not seen him play Annie in professional play yet.
We've seen a lot of Chase Annie, though.
Yes,
so
that's right.
I'm sure that he's learned a lot. Also, Annie not a very complicated champion when it comes to engaging.
This is why I was kind of...
press F, I press R on the Kog'Maw, and then I win the fight.
You got it. Play Annie. This is why I was predicting this is why I was guessing the Thresh, though, because he's always kind of taken that so far this season in a similar situation, but going for the Annie. So some deep wards coming in early on. Do you think this is something you're going to lane swap?
I'm not sure exactly what Janair wants to do. A lot of the time, you wouldn't want to be in that Kog'Maw lane if you're playing Sivir. Especially that poke coming out of Kog'Maw Janna that's very strong early with the Bioarcane Barrage, but maybe you sacrifice some of that pick potential. Looks like Janair does want a lane swap. Again, regardless of where they are, if they keep Annie with Sivir, they will always have kill pressure. And it's extra bad too. Even if Annie goes into the bottom side, well then you have to deal with a twisted advance into an Annie stun into a spear. So there's a lot of kill pressure in these lanes and a lot that could be done with this, but it looks like it will not be called, so Kog'Maw and Janna will be all by their lonesome, and we will see a 2v1 in the top side.
Crown actually managed to steal one of those mini raptors from GBM.
What a jerk.
What a jerk, stealing those raptors. GBM still got 2 out of 3. So I guess he's got that going for him. And the main worry is you know, will Janair kind of, once again, outsmart themselves in that late game? Will they try to get a little bit too clever with how they play this?
The 2 globals on Twisted Fate. Okay.
Well,
here we go.
Yeah,
so they know that Chaser's coming. Actually, there was a very good position there from Luna to detect this, but I don't know if he can actually survive this. He has cleanse, so that's nice.
They may just not go for it, too.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to back off.
No.
Or
never mind. There's a gold card, and there's a stun. Cleanse immediately used by Crown. He has to flash as well, so both summoners taken away.
Yeah, very nicely done. Just trade the Annie flash for that, even if he's not going to die. Now he has to be much more cautious about pushing forward, and they've unleashed this Annie on the map, too, so you never know when the Annie's going to come back. You cannot make those plays any longer because GBM has flash advantage on you. He can always just flash gold card you, and he can then just walk up and Q you, and then you're dead.
Pretty much.
So, nice play there from Janair. They wanted to turn around this lane early. Remember that it was really hard for GBM in the first game.
Well, it's so important, too, for TF to be able to take that early mid lane turn and not lose his as well. We saw, you know, how that hurts your ability to gank top and bottom if you have to play so far back. So, Janair responding a lot better this game to TF's needs.
Yes, and we'll see how early. Remember that last game, GBM just tried to stay an item or 2 ahead with the teleport. He went back in about 4.5 minutes for an Antone and a Torrent's Blade. Torrent's Ring, rather.
Chaser going on to Eve. Sweet is coming down as well, too. Eve in a lot of trouble. There's a flash gold card from GBM. They may be able to get him here. Eve taking out first blood for the 3rd game in a row, going to Chaser.
Well, made it work, and they were trying to play with fire on that top side of the map. They knew that Crown wasn't really going to be able to respond to that without any summoners. Annie was up there, TF was up there, Chaser was up there, so playing a little bit onto the weak side, and that is very handily punished. Now Chaser going to be doing a little bit of counter jungling. Might as well. Deep wards coming in from Sweet.
Yeah, Eve is certainly going to be shut down pretty hard at this point. Losing a lot of his jungle, losing a lot of time as well. And some pressure put on that top lane at the same time.
Well, it's a risk to do that.
Yep.
You have a Hecarim who's item dependent, and you're going into crowd control land in the top side of the map. Annie able to respond quite easily. And of course, that damage from Nidalee, you cannot underestimate that.
Pilot, perfectly fine here, just farming by himself. Has to be a little bit careful not to pull up, or push up rather, too far, but he's not going to do that.
Yeah, a lot of wards suddenly going down into that top side. They need Kube to be safe, and they should be rightfully very worried about what's going on. Sweet now returning into that bottom side. As,
Pilot being very aggressive onto Luna here. With Sweet there, though, he can throw all the auto attacks into Luna that he wants.
yep, there's just a W
Wow.
onto Kube.
Nice poking.
And they were trying to play a little bit more aggressively because they didn't see Annie, but Annie walked around through the tri-brush and managed to make a difference. So
Sneaky. Gonna get that pink ward as well.
interesting. Triss is
Trace,
trying to gank
what
the
are you
mid
doing
lane.
here? All right. He's gonna probably throw Sapling in there. Nope, just Arcane Smash to delay the recall. Crown is like, really? You've got nothing better to do right now? Okay, I guess you don't.
Well, that was actually really smart because the Arcane Smash is closer range, so he
Yep.
still had the sapling up for the second delay. So if you can get in there without actually taking a turret shot and just Arcane Smash him out of the recall, well, you just you buy a couple more seconds that way. GBM again going back early in this game. He had that assist gold, so he does get the same build going for the Aether Wisp again. A little bit of a surprise that he wouldn't build the Sheen or start working into that, but I guess he just wants some more mobility.
And here we go, gank onto Fury. Eve is there as well too, but Fury will be the target. The gold card lands, and he is not making it out of this one. And that's going to be potentially a dragon as well for Jin Air.
This is a really brutal team comp, and yeah, look at GBM, just gonna pour
Oh, yeah.
right back into the mid lane. Chaos Storm was dropped in middle to push the minion wave, but GBM not gonna lose any farm, not gonna lose any CS as a result of his teleport.
Wow.
And now Kuve has to back off as he gets chunked out in the top side, but again, look at that kill pressure. Such a smooth combination between the TF port and then the Maokai root and the spear. This is what Jin Air should have looked like all 3 games tonight, but they haven't been able to have that skirmish coordination. Finally, they get their heads on straight, looking much better this game.
I mean, this is worrisome going into the postseason for Jin Air as well too, because you can't afford to have even one game like that against a team, or against any team above them in the league right now.
I agree. A lot of their skirmishing and their team fighting tonight has looked surprisingly sloppy, not very well coordinated or communicated. And like I said, it's weird because this is a Nidalee team. Now, if Jin Air never played Nidalee and we're first seeing it tonight, maybe you say, okay, well, maybe they're not used to playing with this champion. But we know that they have a heavy emphasis on this champion. They play more Nidalee than just about anybody in this league. So for them to make such fundamental errors when it comes to executing Nidalee ganks is a very worrying sign.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want to chalk it up to just being an off game this time, right? You'd like to. I'd like to. Jin Air fans would like to. We'd all like to.
Well, they have looked a lot tighter in this one. So,
Yeah.
And it's gotten them a nice gold lead so far. Chaser is rolling. When Chaser gets rolling, usually Jin Air can win.
And to their credit too, I mean, they had that very embarrassing loss in game 1, and they didn't let it affect them. They came back 10 times stronger in game 2.
Yep. Didn't even let the little boo-boo that they made at the beginning of game 2 affect them that much. They played a very dominating game ever from that point forward. So we'll see if they can do it again. GBM could be waiting just a little bit right now before he can get another global up.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, at least Jin Air seems mentally resilient to their own mistakes, which is nice to see.
Here we go, GBM not really falling behind in terms of his farm this game compared to game number 1 where he played this matchup and had a bit of trouble, but he's also had a nice amount of help. That early gank really made a big difference.
Well, Chaser and Sweet kind of playing with fire there, taking out that ward. Nice spear, though, comes in from Chaser.
Yep, just going to punish them as much as they can for that pink ward destruction. While Pilot and Fury trading a little bit. Fury with the upper hand in this matchup right now, and this is how it's going to be. Sivir just has a hard time dealing with Kog'Maw's poke from the range, and especially now that he has that extra little bit of movement speed from the Phage. Really going to be able to get into range unless he wants to ult. Miss Spear.
Tough one, though.
Oh yeah, very hard spear. Not likely to land that one.
Yeah.
But as a result, there is no follow-up damage.
Yeah, it was one of those, you know, well, I'll throw it, and if it hits, I'll go in, but didn't do it. GBM's just sustaining with that blue card. And Jin Air, too, just in the last game and then this game as well, doing a much better job of controlling vision on both sides of the map around the river.
Yep.
Close one.
Attempted steal right there, but Chaser gets it in the end with the Nidalee Spear. Now right over to the red buff. So where is the next gank going to be? TP almost back up for GBM right now. Needs to start thinking about planning for his next play. Trace, they could dive it. Cuvée only right now has that Phage, and looks like Jin Air are going to get some free time with the tower down on the bottom side, tier 1.
Yeah, nice amount of damage done to Samsung's bottom turret. And will we see that dive onto Cuvée? I don't know. He's back up to full health again.
Well, the nice thing in this game is that they have, again, that more kill pressure on the bottom lane, so they don't have to always gank top side. They can actually have a bit more freedom in who they go after on the bottom side of the map. Therefore, they don't have to give up as many dragons as they did for those top lane ganks in the first match of the evening.
Chaser's coming down for a lane gank here. Will he be seen?
Well, you notice what Eve is doing right now. You see where he's standing and putting down wards. He's just trying to make sure that TF can't get down there.
There's the flash timbers onto Luna. He gets taken out immediately. Yep, that was a very dead Janna.
Well, great communication again. They nail it. I mean, you see instantly as soon as the flash goes down, that's when all the hunt goes down. That's when the spear is already in the air. So really nice gank from Jin Air.
And meanwhile, Crown is back in base. GBM pushing up mid lane. First dragon goes to Jin Air.
There's almost no counterplay to that too. I mean, it just happened so fast, and
What do you do?
Luna tried to get his monsoon off, but basically that's all he could do, and he was still at the ignite on him. A very difficult situation to deal with, and now they're going to try and punish. I mean, remember, GBM could be here at any moment. Sweet is there. Sweet has no flash, so it is a little bit harder.
He's really
here we
far
go.
up. Sweet coming in. There's the TP coming in. Q-Sun lands, gets cleansed. GBM flashes for the gold card. A lot of damage on the Crown. Getting low, but they're going to turn it around. Nice drawing assault. Sweet under turret. Crown gets a kill. And Jin Air on the run. They didn't count on Eve and Luna to be there.
Well, I mean, little bit of a danger when you don't have any vision on the bottom side of the map that could happen.
Yep.
But Crown turned it around very nicely, had that cleanse on his way through, but just in terms of predicting that was her there.
Yeah, and I mean, it was yet another gank where the damage was just out of range, where if that spirit landed,
I don't think GBM should have
Maybe
flashed
could've
for
done
that.
it.
I think you get the summoner spells, and if you're not already on the same page about diving that turret, if you haven't pre-planned that in terms of your communication, you just have to back off. You just have to be happy with getting 2 summoners out of that. Don't give them any opportunity. You cannot dive when you don't know where their support and jungle are.
I mean, and this is kind of what we saw in game number 1 a little bit too, where we saw GBM and Jin Air maybe trying a little bit too hard with this TF. Nope. I knew that one was coming.
Yeah.
So that top turret's going to go down in favor of Jin Air in a moment.
Jin Air is still with a healthy gold lead.
Yep. As they have had every game.
As they have
For what it's
had
worth.
every game. You speak the truth, sir.
I know. Crown is a happy guy.
Oh, wow,
Just
nice.
laughing it up. That turret is nearly dead.
Yeah, very close to going down, so the Silver Wave clear doing work, and Sweet and Pilot have had that freedom to push forward with relative impunity.
Now they'll be able to take that turret probably on this wave here.
You see Kog'Maw just significantly slower at clearing that one out, and they're just going to give the gold over. Split between Pilot and Sweet.
Helps out quite a bit. And plenty of time until the next dragon comes up too, so Jin Air can kind of just work on getting a bit more vision into the bottom jungle now. and pushing up that mid lane.
Yeah, I'm wondering when Kuve's actually going to hit this power spike right now, because they will have a 2 Trinity Forces pretty soon.
True. Oh, gold card, crown little. There we go. Yeah, spear landed there. Didn't even have time to describe it all.
I mean,
That's what happens when Nidalee hits.
this is just such a field day for Chaser. Being able to gank any lane, any time, and guaranteed spears land as Nidalee is just the dream.
Yeah, and they're going to get a lot of damage done on the turret too. Wow, explosive cask used by Eve, and it's going to barely save their turret.
But no, there's nobody to defend against Pilot in the bottom side right now, so they have to commit that Kog'Maw to the mid lane, but they just don't have the wave clear with the Victor dead to account for all fronts. They're going to lose some minions on the bottom side, no question. And now, looks like GBM is going to finish it off. There's no way for Samsung to defend. The wave clear on all lanes right now from Janair is just making it easy to rack up objective kills, and now they're 6,000 gold ahead at 15 minutes.
A pretty decisive lead for Janair right now. Starting to look like their game against IM, second game anyway. Oh, Zivral used. Here comes Hecarim with the teleport. Teleport used by Janair as well too. Kube just not tanky right now. Luna with a long ult. They catch Crown though. There's a knock-up. Trace still wading back into the back lines of his enemy. Pilot caught in the Chaos Storm actually. A lot of damage comes in. There's a kill for Trace. 2 kills. Pilot picks one up as well. And Luna in a lot of trouble. There's GBM. Kills very evenly spread across Janair right now.
And now the question is, where are they going next? Looks like they're not going to actually dive Kog'Maw in the bottom lane. Maybe they want to go for this Baron instead. They know, well, Baron's not even up.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
It's
it's
a
only
bit
15
early, man.
minutes in this game.
They can just go for this tier 2 in mid, and they can probably take it out fairly comfortably.
Yeah, so just turning the minion wave. You know, with that level of team fighting, I expected it to be after 20 minutes, but we've seen a lot of action so far.
Yeah.
And just an early tier 2, so now that gold lead going to be pretty insurmountable, you'd have to believe.
8,000 gold at 16 minutes is not something a lot of teams come back from. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, Kuve, bit of a desperation flank right there. Doesn't even, wow, Chaser going to get the red buff too. Didn't even have the Trinity Force yet and is still trying to pull off that kind of flank. Meanwhile, Trace just a million times more useful with the Righteous Glory and playing Maokai early. So, a bit problematic for Samsung. Just no Trinity Force on either Cog or the Hecarim. Not the time you want to fight. You just want to wait until the late game instead of falling even further behind.
Janair can close this one out pretty leisurely.
I mean, Chaser has 2,500 more gold than Eve at 17 minutes into this game.
Well, you're in a situation where even the support on the other side has about 1,000 more gold than yours. So yeah, the lead is pretty big, and again, like I mentioned, very evenly distributed across Janair as well too. So it's not really being funneled too much into one role.
Oh, it's been some nice team play that we've seen from Janair to get this lead this game. They look much cleaner on the map. Now they're just going to go ahead and take their second dragon. Only Nidalee and Annie needed for this. Pilot just going to come up for a couple of auto attacks. There you go.
Thanks for the help.
Easy as can be.
Yep. GBM hiding up in top lane. He's started to do a bit of split pushing now.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage, has that measly large rod. We'll see which item he ends up going into next. And Kuve still,
They're going to dive this Kuve here. Kuve trying to get away. Trace comes in with the twisted advance, gets behind him, knocks him forward a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch him. They're going to be content with the pressure on lane, I suppose. Oh.
Well, they saw this 5-man stack right here. Sweet waiting in the wings with his Tibbers. He is seen by a pink ward right by the blue buff though, so he's not going to be entering unseen.
They're pinging Fury to take the bottom tier 1, and he's going to try. He doesn't have the greatest wave clear, but might be able to get some decent damage done on it.
Yeah,
Nope, not anymore.
GBM is on his way there already, and he has to be very worried about extending too far lest he get taken out by GBM.
Oh,
Sweet is
gate.
really playing dangerously.
That's right. Looks like you'll be able to get out. GBM just using that gate just to make sure that people were afraid of him. Didn't go quite as hard onto Sweet that way. And I mean, the map is Jennaire's right now. I mean, the jungle camps, they've got the vision. For once, we don't see a lot of Samsung wards strewn about the map.
Yeah, the denial's certainly much better this game. And we've seen those sweepers on a couple of champions, so Jennaire shying away from the early upgraded ward totems, holding off on those for just a little bit longer.
Can we get the blue?
Jeez, that's already a lot of damage from a jungler just from a single spear, and now it's like Jennaire want this one. Crown and take a nice chunk.
Yep, looks like we're going to be able to take it. Oh, nice. Crown, able to grab it with the death ray.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy right there. Obviously, Chaser did not have his smite, but they hand it over to the victor, unfortunately for Jennaire, but no one has eyes on Baron right now. Baron about to spawn, but 9,000 gold lead by the time Baron spawns. They can basically just bait this forever right now. Samsung is going to have to face check it. There's no question.
I'd imagine that's probably what we're going to see them do. Samsung did get a bunch of wards down in their top jungle at least.
Yeah, Pilot's going to be doing huge damage this game. There's no armor. I mean, both him and GBM, there's no magic resist either. So GBM going to get the blue buff recall, pick up Azonia's Hourglass. Now he can just engage for free onto the back line. So this is looking very, very good for Jennaire.
True enough. Yeah, and what do you do if you're Fury? I mean, yeah, you're going to be doing some decent damage too, but who's going to save you when Jennaire comes in?
Well, there are 8 people in this game to get onto you. Even though there are only 5 players on the other team, that's what it feels like to be Kog'Maw in this situation.
Pretty much. Nearly double the enemy team.
Okay, so are we going to see the start of a Baron here? The tankiness is in the bottom lane, though, for Jennaire, so they probably have to take more damage than they would like. They don't have something like an Alistair this game to face tank the Baron as effectively. They have to rely on more healing from the mid lane. Here we go.
Yep, Kube, they're going to try to pick up a kill onto him. Trace and GBM going to be able to secure this one. Probably, yep, GBM gets it in the end. Pretty easy gank for Jennaire. The rest of Samsung up in top lane.
And again, the weird thing about the teleport TF is that there's still no chance. I mean, normally a normal shot calling, you'd say Samsung would be like, oh, everyone to the Baron now, because there's only one teleport. Maybe you can get a 4v4 or something without one of their major damage sources there, but you just can't get that because TF and Maokai have the ports, so now you're dealing with an even more powerful split push with one fewer person.
Yeah.
So it's really annoying to have the TF TP.
And they're going to be content just to take that tier 2 and then back off. Jennaire playing this much more safely than they did in game number 1 with that TF, and also much more deliberately too. You know, there's not a lot of milling about.
Well, they're in a must-win situation, obviously.
Yeah.
They really would like to go to the playoffs. They want to close the gap with Najin. This is a great way to do it, to start off in this series. They could have gotten that 2-0, made the point differential a little less severe.
It really does hurt too, because they're 4 points down to Najin in the standings right now, and they really could have used a 2-0.
Yep.
It's going to make it tougher, even if they will tie in match score with a win over Samsung here.
So here we go, back to some nice ward clearing prior to the dragon spawn. Only to see a little bit of a recall here from Jennaire before they actually go for that objective.
Yeah, they've got time to do it. real issues there.
Yes, they do. Should be pretty by the book here from Janair. The only thing that is keeping Samsung from getting perfect gamed is that single kill onto Crown from the overextension in the mid lane by Janair.
Yep.
Otherwise, no turrets, no towers, no nothing.
No hope.
No hope. 10k down at 23 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty much no hope.
You know, I feel like we could combine this Hecarim skin with like a Mad Max thing, you know, instead of having it be a centaur, just have the back half be the truck and have the front half be the guy with the guitar that's like hanging from it. That would be a sick skin, man.
That actually would be really cool.
His Q can be just him like spinning around with the flamethrower.
Trucker rim.
Yeah. Trucker rim. There we go.
Hecarim could use some more
Fury Road
creative skins. He doesn't always have to be a horse.
Yeah, it's true. He can be anything.
He can be anything with 4 wheels or 4 legs.
4 legs and 2 arms in the front. Literally anything that has that kind of thing. Which is pretty much just a centaur, really, when you think about it. He could be like a lobster, maybe. Like a deep sea Hecarim. He could be like, you just be
You're fitting
he could hold a trident.
Yeah, you're fitting the theme right now.
Yeah, exactly.
The Bilgewater theme.
Pretty much.
Just be the back half is just a crab.
Heck a lobster.
Giant enemy Crabberim.
Crabberim.
We need that.
That's right. Crustacean rim.
All right, is the Baron actually going to come through this time? I mean, they can basically just do that same gank over and over and over again as long as Janair has Destiny up and they don't have to use TP.
You ever wonder if one of the skin ideas we talk about they're actually planning and then like, oh, we got to cancel this one. Teleport coming in. They're going to try to go on to Chaser here. There's the ult used by Kube. Can they catch him? Doesn't look like it. Siverall pop. GBM could be coming in from the side. Comes in from behind instead for safety's sake. Tibber's already used.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt by Samsung to get Chaser all on his own, but he has the sustain, so now he's just going to simply spam those heals, get himself right back up when it comes to his HP.
This advance onto Eve, still low health ready, flashes out of that spear. Sweet needs to load up that stun. There's a knock-up on the Trace, could get dangerous here, goes into the Wolf Camp, Pilot still there, GBM loading up that gold card. Wow, they do manage to take out Trace. Janair just overextending a bit too far.
Yeah, they are 10k up, and they lost that fight. They were really uncoordinated how they responded to Kuve's teleport because GBM used his gate to get into the back line just to be protected instead of actually trying to make a play onto any one of their carries. So he was really a non-factor in that fight.
Yeah, very true. What's Samsung gonna get out of it though?
Nothing, Doa.
They don't.
The wave
really...
clear is still alive.
Yeah.
There's no dragon up. They certainly can't try and take Baron safely. So the best they can do is just push some minion waves. So in the end, not really going to have that big of an effect. And here we go. Oh, no, we're not going to go onto the Baron quite yet. Just trying to throw some spears out, and now we're going to start the Baron.
Okay, well, Kuve's teleport is not up, so he's going to have a hard time getting there on the bottom side of the map. Janair's going to be very low from this Baron, though. This could be dangerous. That Baron is not going down fast. Here comes Fury. A ton of damage on the Sweet. Crown gets the kill already. Trace trying to prevent Eve from coming in. Italy gets the Baron, but GBM and the rest of Janair getting destroyed by Crown. He takes a triple kill, and Trace can't do anything here. Ult from Luna keeps him away. GBM, the only one left, as Trace goes down here. Crown with the quadra kill, and goodbye GBM as Kube finishes the ace. Wow. Janair.
That is the third time in this series Janair has taken a 50-50 Baron and decided that that was okay. They are so squishy. Remember that Samsung has really good late game scaling, and they have the Kog'Maw, and most importantly, they have the Victor who has a ridiculous amount of AoE damage after they get shredded. So now they're going to start losing outer turrets.
Yep.
That gold lead is going to close to only about 7k. Now, fortunately for Jin Air, they still have a big dragon advantage, so it probably doesn't matter that much. But Jin Air, they had a chance to turn here, and they just didn't take it.
Well, I guess you really can't underestimate Jin Air's ability to take one game and toss it out the window.
There's no reason to continue on to that Baron to get stuck in a pit when you give Victor a Quadra or whatever it ended up being. Because you have an opportunity to turn. Sure, they didn't have Flash onto Maokai or onto Annie, but they still have the Twisted Advance available to try and make a play there. Now they just end up with no Baron buffs and a smaller lead. But they still can get Dragon number 4.
They can. At this point, though, Crown is extremely strong after that unofficial quadra in that last team fight.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see.
Yeah.
Especially because there's no Aegis of the Legion onto Jin Air.
That's a good point. I mean, that and, like, where is this sustained damage going to come from really in a team fight? Sivir is so short range, it's going to be tough to stand up against a Hecarim and a Victor. There goes another turret.
Man, if you're Jin Air, all you had to do there is start setting up picks.
Oh, explosive cast
bad.
dodged by Trace.
Not a good cast, but you just set up the picks. You have that skirmishing potential. GBM now going to try and push into the mid lane. How long can they delay people here is the question.
He's going to try to be a hero, and he is going to get some decent inhibitor damage done, it looks like, or inhibitor turret damage done, rather.
They get a little bit down.
Yep. Not too bad. Has to run once Crown gets back to base.
So, but that sets them up for a dragon, right? It's going to take them a little bit to push out the wave again and try and get control. Crown's going to go there with the Death Ray, start to move it, but by the time he gets over to the dragon, it's going to be very close to spawning.
They're going to get spotted in that brush. Spear doesn't hit anybody. No wards for Jin Air, so they're kind of just throwing skill shots into the darkness there. There we go. And here comes the dragon. Jin Air really needs this one to go their way. They really cannot afford to lose a team fight here.
Now, Jin Air can just stall this out. They're going to have side wave control. They already have a big wave developing in the top side. They do not have to go for this immediately. They can rather just keep on split pushing and force it. They have the poke with Nidalee and Sivir, so GBM can just walk. This is the correct call.
Yeah.
For sure, because if you don't do this, then you run the risk of Samsung actually just running into the mid lane. So Samsung has the TP, but Jin Air knows there aren't that many wards behind them. Here comes the TP, though.
That's right. They're going to try to come in with the flank here. Trace pops out right to Glory. Sweet, force him away with the stun. They could be grouped up. They were grouped up. That's a big Timber stun. Eve nearly goes down. Trace on the back lines now. GBM hammering away at Kuvia. Turns around with that onslaught of shadows, but no follow-up from Samsung. All grouped up yet again, and that's a lot of damage coming in from Pilot. And Jin Air is going to be able to take this fight. Pilot trying to finish off Fury here, and he'll be able to do it with the help of a spear from Chaser. Double kill for GBM at the end of all that.
And GBM
that's going to be an inhibitor.
Teleporting back into the minion wave that he set up. That was actually really nicely done by Jin Air. That's the kind of fight you want to see with this composition.
Much
as
cleaner.
Soon as Kuvei comes in, they start kiting out. Sweet did an awesome job of zoning out the Hecarim on the outside, and then the Tibbers. You Tibbers the rest of the members. You know it's a 4 people are just isolated. Kuvei split off on the flank, and then GBM comes in with the Destiny and gates into the middle of your team to continue putting down damage and make that play. And then he's able to teleport back to the minion wave he just pushed up to clean up. So that was really well done. And that's what's so confusing about Jin Air tonight, is they have oscillated between incompetence and brilliance in a very rapid succession.
Within minutes of each other.
Yeah.
So, what we can learn is that we have yet another extremely inconsistent team.
Well, it's just weird because that was great. That was really well done.
But will they play like that 5 minutes from now?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they got their 10K gold lead back, Doa. They got Dragon number 4. They're going to be in position, more than likely, we can say, for this next Baron.
You'd think so? I guess you could just describe it as heavy turbulence.
It's true. Bit of the old up and down for Jin Air.
I guess so. It bounced around a bit. And they've caught...
Trying to catch Trace right there. But
yeah, but has Trace caught you? GBM uses that gate. Will he come in?
Oh,
Sweet
geez.
with another great Timber stun. There's the follow-up. Trace coming in. GBM with the gold card on the Eve. They're going to do a lot of damage. Trace pushed out by the ult from Luna. Kube able to zone Jin Air a little bit. GBM, though, with the first kill. Trace still causing a lot of damage. There's one for Chaser as he takes some pretty heavy turret damage, but they're going to be able to kill that turret. Gold card again on the Eve, and there's a long-range kill from GBM. This is all right before Baron's about to come up as well.
Yeah, very nice finisher there, and they're just going to go back right now. Trace is low, Sweet is low, but they have the TP, and they're going to be there by the time the Baron spawns, and they're actually just going to TP straight into the bottom side.
I guess so.
Hello?
Yeah, I think they just want to... Do they actually want to end now? They just want the inhibitors.
Yeah, take the inhibitors, take the quick way out. They're going to get inhibitor number 2 right now in top, and then they're going to fall back right to the Baron. Now, even Crown should maybe be there by the time they take it out.
Could be. Sweet having to recall. He's very low health right now. So this Baron is still going to be a little bit risky. And with the death timers being where they are, do you need to go for this?
Oh, you can wait it out too. They have to clean out the bottom side wave.
I feel like you just kind of wait it out and then go for that 5th dragon, you know?
I mean,
They're going to go for it. All right.
you can force this.
Baron's going to go down
long
much
as
quicker
they
than last
turn.
time. Oh, they may not need to turn. Baron getting very, very low. They are turning anyway. Now turning back into the dragon, the double turn. And here we go. Eve coming in. Kube from the side, not really finding the best flank, though, as Sweet gets very, very low. Crown doing a lot of damage, though. There's a kill for Kog'Maw. Sweet able to pick one up for himself. Eve and the rest of them very, very low. Fury on the run. Trace has done so much work. He's so tanky. They're finally catching Crown. There's a kill for Pilot. GBM looking for something from the side. Flash gold card.
Beautiful.
Nice kill. Great jump over the wall, and GBM just going to teleport right into the bottom lane. Help finish off that Nexus turret, and that is it. With a clean ace, Jin Air will finish a not-so-clean series, but still get the win anyway. 2-1 over Samsung Galaxy. There's